Hello, welcome back to Trickway with Grey Gamer 25 and me, Trainspot and Trev, for another episode review of Lower Decks. And the Trickway mugs made their appearance again, and we're talking about the cup, not Grey.
It's like a cast. It's like a cast or a cast character of ours. You know, me, you, the cup.
Man, if we ever made money out of this podcast, not that that's why we're doing it, then Grey would probably have to end up getting about 90% of it for all the publicity he does, whether he means it or not. But we do it for a love of Star Trek, don't we?
Yep.
We will, in a moment, talk about the Lower Decks episode, Season 4, Episode 7, called A Few Badgeys More. I thought when they were talking about Badgeys, I was thinking onion badges, Grey. To be honest, yeah, that's why I thought they were coming from, and then as we find out, no, it's not that badgy, unfortunately. But Grey wanted to really quickly mention at the start the news that Prodigy might be possibly going to Netflix season 2, which we're all happy about, Grey, aren't we? Because it looked really, really good. Do you think it'll happen?
I mean, from what you and I have been hearing, if we're to believe everything, it seems that Netflix and Amazon were in a bidding war on who was going to take Prodigy season 2, and Netflix won out, and so it's going to end up appearing on Netflix, but we don't know more than that or when it's going to be. However, knowing how Netflix works, if Netflix does put it on, and if it meets Netflix expectations, which I don't know what those expectations are, but if it meets their expectations, they will greenlight a season 3. So that's what I'm hoping for.
They're allowed to, aren't they, though? That's the thing. That they will be given the rights, most likely, to do more seasons if they... I think they have to mostly foot the bill or completely foot the bill. I think something like Amazon were willing to... Don't quote me on this. This is just rumours we're hearing people. Amazon were willing to foot roughly about 80% or so of the whole production value. But Netflix, I think, might be covering all of it and a little bit extra on the side, actually. So that's what Paramount want to hear, because they want their money back and to make a small profit. And it's all going to go that way, Grey, now. We're going back to how it used to be, where Netflix and Amazon had a lot of stuff. What's the point?
It's like, by the way, we're going to do a Grey's Green Room on the 25th, and we're going to talk about this because the streaming landscape has changed dramatically and is going to keep changing. It's getting crazy. And I guess if you look at it from a business perspective, it had to happen because they're just losing money. I mean, a lot of them, and they just got to do something.
Oh.
And you're right. Everything's going back to the way it used to be. I mean, Paramount is now providing content for Netflix. Warner Brothers, Discovery is now. I mean, it's just going to happen. I mean, I heard little rumors, although who knows if it's true, that almost, if not all, Star Trek will end up appearing on Netflix eventually.
We'll see. Safe to say, everyone, for the most part, lost the streaming wars. Maybe Netflix won because they charge so bloody much. It's because they charge the most. That's why they won.
Netflix. There's three. Netflix won, Amazon won, and Apple's kind of its own thing. And after that, nobody's winning.
Yeah, but in terms of the amount of material that Netflix actually give out, they give out the most out of all of them. So and Apple are so rich that it doesn't matter if they fail or win. Same with Amazon, actually. So, but yeah, Grey's got a good point. That leads me on to the next thing that Grey's Green Room, which is the entertainment podcast I co-host with Mr. Grey, will be back on October 25th, 100% for sure, unless something major comes up, of course, like it's in the way. But we've all been going through personal stuff recently, especially Grey.
Strikes,
yeah. That's what gives us some content and a backwards way to discuss, actually. So he will be back. We'll all be back on the 25th of October. And you can find Grey on the YouTubes, on the audio podcast platforms at Grey's Green Room, and on the Twitters as well, or X, at Grey's Green Room. And myself, I'm still an audio podcast. I know I said before I might be changing. I changed to Acast, completely 110% free. No issues so far, so I'm going to stick with them for that. No skin off my nose, and we're still in the YouTubes. I did get rid of the Twitter for the Trickway because I never used it and no one else used it. So if you want to chat, just leave a comment below. Just literally leave a chat, because what will happen is in a few episodes' time, we're at episode 7, with 3 more episodes left. and then we will have a hiatus probably until January or February when Discovery Season 5 comes out, which I am looking forward to because it's the last ever season of it. So leave comments below if you want specials, you want to see any ideas for Star Trek specials. Let Gray and I know.
I think one way or another we're going to do at least a couple specials.
Oh yeah.
How many I don't know, but
yeah.
But there's definitely enough room to do a couple.
We love talking about Star Trek. This is why I might tweak things a little bit and make it like purely, and somewhere in the title, non-edited raw cut, because I don't edit this at all. I don't want to. It's supposed to be about two mates talking about Star Trek in a slightly more formal format than we would normally. It's just someone's press record and Gray and I happen to be talking about Star Trek. We do it in a slightly structured way. Some people like it, some people hate it. Is what it is. But yeah, so we will get into the episode. Likes it. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. Of course, I'm being facetious, but we will kick off. Great. Now, Gray really hated this episode. Spoiler alert. We'll keep the scores to the end. So I just read the notes that he adds, and it's just boo, snore, crap. But I'm hoping he inputs more than that to this review. I sure will.
Well, I can tell you one thing off the top. The name of the show is A Few Badgeys More, which I could be wrong about this, but that's a play on Clint Eastwood movie for a few dollars more.
Ah, of course.
He did that trilogy, Fistful of Dollars, for a few dollars more, and then Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
So I'm pretty sure it's a play on that. Somebody likes Clint Eastwood.
Well, yeah, writers borrow, don't they, all the time, which is not a bad thing, from other great ideas and content. So, yeah, it makes sense. And Gray's got a few years of me, so he's watched. So you like westerns and stuff anyway, don't you? So you know about these things. That I don't like westerns. I don't. I love Clint Eastwood when he doesn't do a western. Gran Torino is phenomenal, and some of the directing he does is great. Just I don't like. Sorry.
You got to see the 5 Dirty Harry movies.
That doesn't sound like a western, Gray.
No,
it sounds like a different kind of genre of movie.
He's a cop.
Oh,
in the 5 Dirty Harry movies.
Sorry. Get your mind out of the gutter, Trevor.
But if you haven't seen any of them, go watch them. They're pretty good.
Okay. Right, well, we'll kick off then, right? So it might be slightly shorter because it wasn't as great, but we'll put some context into why we didn't like it, or more so Gray will, because he disliked it more than me. But yeah, of course, jump in as usual, Gray. So we do start off this episode in the Kayla system, and we see the return of Badgey, not Onion Badgey. Badgey is in the Com Badge.
Com Badge, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him, and when they done him originally, Gray, it was actually decent. I liked it when he was there first time around because it made more sense. It was funnier, and the fact that he's back, I was initially excited because I went, "Oh, there's a classic character from the original one." I don't know if it's season 1 or 2 he was in, and I loved him then. So I thought this could work. Were you already going, "Oh no," as soon as you saw Badgey, or were you like, "Okay"?
Yeah, kinda.
Really? Did you not like him the first time?
No, I liked him the first time, but to me that was cool the first time. It was funny. It's a one-off, and that's cool.
You can't go back ever, no.
Not the way they did it. Unless
you can do it well. Unless you know you can do it well. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. So we do see Badgey. There's a ship that's literally scavenging for debris, and there's a bit of debris from where Badgey was blown up last time, I guess. And he gets on board. Is he? He's like, I think he's a little chip inside a bit of circuitry or something, Gray. That's the vibe I was getting.
He was supposed to be some kind of sentient hologram type character, whatever. Yeah. So somehow he buries himself into the headpiece of this, kind of like the one that Rutherford wears.
Yeah.
And I guess and he was just floating around in space until the salvagers, came upon him, I guess.
I don't recognize the species. I think they have been on Star Trek before, but I don't think they're a big species. So
I can't remember whether, and I'm sure just because it's been a long time, I don't remember the salvager race off the top of my head, but it's kind of cool because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of like Ferengi in a way, sort of.
Or Pac-Lids.
But so they have like a specific thing. That's all they do is go around and get salvage and sell it.
Yeah. They're like a poor.
I kind of like it.
Poor Ferengi. But yeah,
I thought the ship looked kind of cool for a salvager. It looks like a pretty neat ship.
Do I not Yeah, I know. Well, actually, no, it's the other ship that was actually pretty cool. But no, this ship was very. It was practical for what it was doing. It looked good for what it was doing. So yeah, they beam up some of this. They grab some of this salvage on board, and the like captain, if you like, is looking at this salvage, and because Badgey's embedded himself in like a headpiece thing, the headpiece almost like Borgifies itself and attaches itself to the captain's head, and he's now got like a Rutherford type badge, and it's weird because it seems like the hologram or the Badgey holo, whatever it is, gets into the body of the captain, but then when you see him after, he's a hologram floating about the ship.
Right.
So I don't know if this is where we'll get to, where things don't make sense in the episode. They're not paced very well. They're all over. There's no cohesion. Doesn't make sense. And there's the first thing that doesn't make sense, Gray, how he exists and how he then gets from A to B. But we assume initially he's taken over the captain, Borg style.
You see the wires shoot out into his eye. Like that was one of the cool things of the show. The rest of it,
we see another classic species back, Gray. Who do we see back after we see the scavengers? The Bynarr.
Bynarr
are back. Yeah, just because you. Now, the thing is, right, when I was watching it online, I was like, okay, what's going on here? Am I missing subtitles here? And I checked, checked the audio track. No, I'm not. Gray, did you see what the Bynarrs were actually saying in your?
No, I was gonna do the subtitles, and then I forgot to go back and do it.
Yeah, no. The reason being, right. So I'm glad you didn't. That means it's not just me. You weren't supposed to know what they were saying then. Otherwise, it would have come up. Okay. Even if you don't have subtitles on, it should still come up on the episode and say what they're saying just for context. But you didn't, and I don't think it's relevant because they're doing their Bynarr thing. They're chatting without chatting, if that makes sense, telepathically.
But see, what I would have done to make it funny is I would have added the subtitles and then just add the subtitles of the same noises that they make. That would have been great.
Or I would have.
That would have been funny.
I would have.
So right below it went bleep 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 bleep.
That's one idea. Or we could have added in subtitles in them, and it's translated into English of them saying ridiculous.
Really weird
silly
stuff.
Things.
And,
yeah. It's just the lads, we're talking about what we're getting up to at the bar tonight.
Missed opportunity.
There we go. Another missed opportunity, guys. Writers, come on. So yeah, the Bynarrs are back, and I love them because when I saw them in TNG, they were fantastic. That was a couple of really good episodes. The ship they're in, the Bynarr ship, is cool. That's the ship I was talking about. Looks very alien, nothing Federation style. It looked really, really cool. Red alert goes off in their ship, Gray, and what's causing it? It's the random bloody ship that goes round destroying everything, and it's back again. And Gray's pissed off.
Our favorite ship, not.
You're pissed off about this, Gray, aren't you?
I'm tired of this thing, man. It's driving me nuts. It keeps popping up, destroying stuff every time, and you hear very little about it in the episodes and stuff. It's just like, okay, I get it. I'm tired of this now, and not gonna say it yet, but later in this review, it's going to come up again as to what's going on, and it doesn't make any sense, but we'll get there.
Yeah, listen, we'll be fair when there's something to be fair about, but we'll also rip them a new one if we have to, because I don't know who's tougher on Star Trek out of Gray and I really don't. Probably Gray's tough. Actually, no, I do know. So Gray is harder. And you should be, Gray. I say you've got some years in me. You've watched TOS, you remember it, you love it. You've got a high standard, a high bar, and you don't want to see people shitting all over your favorite franchise. So
yeah, I mean, I'm willing to stretch a little. I'm not a total purist, but yeah, I mean, I want something should be at least held to some accountability, I guess.
Well, you weren't a massive fan of Lower Decks at the start, and then you slowly grew into it. You got used to it. You started enjoying it. You found it funny, and then this season, it's just eroding into the.
It's kind of all over the board.
Yeah,
we get a really funny episode, then we get a so-so episode, then we get crap like this, and then I don't know. Can't figure it out this season.
No, we'll try and make sense of this episode if we can, but it's a tall order. So yeah, the Binars are wrecked by the random ship again. We don't know where things are going with this one. I'm willing to be patient with this one because, as we find out later on, it's not as it seems. So we're getting close to finding out the answer to this. Rutherford's dicking about in the Shuttle Bay. He's trying to add a grappler to a shuttlecraft, and I'm just thinking Star Trek Enterprise right away when I'm seeing this, because it doesn't have all the technology that we're used to at that stage. They use grapplers instead of what they call tractor beams.
Tractor beams.
And he supercharged this thing to the point where it nearly takes out his girlfriend. I mean, Tendi, not. They're purely platonic. They're not into each other at all, Gray. No.
No, not at all. Yeah. You did see how they crawled together in the Jeffries tube at the end of last episode. Did you miss that one?
Get a room. No, exactly. I didn't miss that one. No, that was funny. They're so innocent. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But that's
great. Just to go over it, in that episode, last week's episode, I didn't bring it up then. You see Rutherford crawl in, and he's on his back.
Yeah.
And then Tendi says, let me help you with that, and she crawls right on top of him. And they're fixing things, and I'm sitting there going,
they're fixing things. Yeah, he's got the wrench for the job, doesn't he, or a spanner, as they call it.
Yep. Probably got a whole variety of spanners.
I've got a funny feeling she's fixed somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on from X-rated Star Trek, that would be an idea though, Gray. Anyway, that's another podcast. That's for after
Star
midnight.
X.
That podcast.
No, it'd be Star TREX.
Star X.
Get it? Star Treks.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 X's. So yeah, this grappler was cool. It makes an appearance, nearly takes out his missus, but she doesn't cry about it. Tendy's all lovable and whatnot. Meanwhile, the Cerritos is being tasked to investigate the Binar attack because they know about this random ship going about, taking out other ships throughout the quadrant, and they're tasked to find out what's going on. But they're not going to do it with Tendi and Boimler on board, as they are going to the Daystrom. I spelt it correctly this time, Gray. They're going to the Daystrom Institute, which we all love from Picard, and it's been on Lower Decks before, maybe. I found it cool when they were going back there because right now this episode's all over the shop, as we know, Gray. However, I will talk about the positive things as well, of course, because we've got a couple of old pals that are going to be making an appearance, and that is Peanut Hamper. Peanut Hamper's back. And Peanut Hamper cracks me up because Peanut Hamper sounds like one of the girls that's going out for a night in the town with her girlfriends, and the way she talks, it's just nothing. It's not AI in the slightest, but it's hilarious. So for those that don't remember, Peanut Hamper is those little fixer droid things that float about, and they look like a mechanical bloody hamster is the best way to describe them. They go about with their little beams fixing stuff, and they talk in like machine code, but she can speak English. No one else can. Whatever. Okay.
Right. Gotta have some distinction, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, she's surpassed her programming, hasn't you? So, and we've also got Agimus, right? Now, Agimus I'm happy with this because Agimus is voiced by Jeffrey Combs, who I am a massive fan of. He is a Trek legend. Mm-hmm. He's played many characters. He played the Andorian in Star Trek Enterprise that kept calling Archer Pinkskin. It was hilarious. He has played Wei-Un in Deep Space Nine. That's just a couple of characters off the top of my head. So he's been in everything. Now he's played this, and Agimus is back. And Agimus is the little AI robot thing that it can't move. It just literally wants to take over the world all the time. It just wants to rule the galaxy. That's all his job is to do. And the reason those two are making an appearance is Peanut Hamper is up for parole, and so is Agimus. And I'm like, parole? What? AI? What?
Yeah, for an AI bot, like.
But Gray, come on.
Okay, that's all right.
If we're going to treat AI the same as human beings and be fair, we've got to give them parole opportunities as well.
That didn't really bother me that much. That was okay.
Considering what's going to come up, no wonder it doesn't. upset Gray. There's a lot more to be upset about. So yeah, they will only talk to Peanut Hamper and Agimus will only talk to Boimler and Tendi respectively. So Tendi speaks to Peanut Hamper and Boimler to Agimus. And of course, they've got a little plan and scheme that we'll get to as well. We have group therapy with the evil AIs. They're all round a.
Now that scene was fun.
They're all talking. There
wasn't a lot, but that was funny. Yeah, they're all trying to like express their feelings, like I really feel for that. And she's going, "That's very good." Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, see, that was we'll give them credit where credit's due. And obviously, Jeffrey Combs as Agimus is doing his thing, talking away, getting some things off his chest, and how he can. What I found really, really funny. This is the funniest bit of the episode for me. We obviously find out that Agimus and Peanut Hamper are working together. No surprise. I could see that coming a mile away. There you go. There's maybe a small downfall, Gray. Don't make it super obvious, possibly. Right. Sometimes I like to have the wool pulled over my eyes and be surprised. And I could tell you what was happening a mile away with this.
Sure. Easy enough.
They're working on their parole speeches, both of them. And then Agimus just goes, right, I've been working on something for a while. This takes a lot of concentration. It's really hard for me to do. And he's got a red light on him because that's the colour of evil by default.
Evil, yeah.
And then the little silly noises that Jeffrey Combs makes, he just goes, he sounds constipated. He's and then blue light comes on. He's like, see, look, I'm good now. I just found
that was funny.
I just found that cool, man. It was not easy for him to do.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Gray. But yeah, your Gray put some notes in here as we go along, and he's bored at this stage already.
as
Did
the
episode
goes
on, come on.
It was okay. I mean, the therapy thing was the best. This one, turning blue, was okay. I get it.
Yeah.
But it just starts at this point. It starts to get really, like, pacing is like bizarre. I can't figure out what the pacing is on this thing. It goes from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. And I'm sitting there just listening to this, and I'm just going like, okay, I've seen better stuff. So it's just
he's struggling to stay awake.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jeffrey Combs. Don't get me wrong. It's just the writing is just like like they just threw this thing together. Talk about a filler episode. It's almost like they took all this garbage that they were just playing with and threw it all into one episode.
You should never ever have a filler episode in animation because it costs you pretty much the same to make any episode for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in it. You have filler episodes in live action stuff to save money on CGI budgets.
Yeah.
No excuse really here on the writing side of things. You are right, Gray. I'm definitely not saying you're wrong. So yeah, we got a little planned scheme between Peanut Hamper and Agimus. Yeah. No surprises there. Back on the Cerritos, however, they come up against Badgey. Badgey's kind of taken over that little ship that he was on before. And as soon as Badgey sees Rutherford, because he called him Dad before, if you remember, it was him that kind of invented him. And he's like, Dad, hello. And he's like, oh, wow. And you could just see it, and Rutherford swears, and they bleep it out, which they just what the... You shouldn't be alive, mate. You should be dead. Badgey's pissed off, understandably. Bit of revenge. He's got the evil eyes, and he starts firing on the Cerritos, smashing up. How many times that poor ship has been smashed? It's the most smashed up ship in all of Star Trek, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. All shots are bypassing the shields. Although it doesn't look as obvious at the start. It looks like the shields are absorbing some of the shots and then some of them are going. Right. That made no sense. There's a little nitpick again. You either bypass the shields or you don't. You don't kind of bypass the shields. It's on or off.
You saw later in the episode, Badgey sits there and goes like, well, I have all the, because he was able to get information out of the Starfleet.
Yeah, he knows the codes.
Eye patch. I'm sitting there going like, so you mean to tell me out of this little eye patch, you figured out the codes for all the starships? I don't think so.
I mean,
that got me nuts. And then he goes, and I know all the shield frequencies. And so he's doing all the shield frequencies and then battering the Cerritos. And I'm like, nah, sorry. I can't fall for that one. That's just way too easy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's been done before. The Duras sisters done it.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Let's move on and not use a good idea again.
Right, and because it was just like nonchalant and like, oh, of course I can just, I know everything now. Like from a stupid eye patch thing. Come on.
Hey, that's maybe a super duper turbocharged eye patch. Who knows?
Well, it gets worse.
Oh
Just
yeah, it does.
hold that thought. It gets a lot worse. That's even more unbelievable, but it's coming.
It does. It does. So the Cerritos is taking a beating, Captain, and she's getting pretty busted up. Rutherford does volunteer to go over to the ship to try and resolve this issue, but Captain Freeman's saying no, don't do it. But of course, Rutherford ignores her orders because he wants to save his crewmates and his friends, I guess, whatever.
Right.
And he spacesuit on. He's going to jump across. Which, you ever heard that? There are better ways of getting across than that, man. Use your grappler. Anyway,
yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it?
There you go. So yeah, he's going to go across in his spacesuit, and as he's jumping away, Mariner grabs onto his leg, and she's like, "I'm coming with you." I guess that's kind of cool and sweet.
Isn't it interesting though that Mare is always in the right place at the right time?
She always wants to get involved. This is the stuff that makes it interesting. But she's always bored, Mariner. She's always wanting some kind of shenanigans or life or death situation to be interested.
Yeah.
That's why. But yeah, she's always in the right place at the right time.
It's lucky this is a cartoon, because if it wasn't, you would be saying she's got some real mental issues.
yeah. Go and speak to a shrink.
I like to think about it. I like to get in fights. I like to get punched. I like to be hurt.
See if she's a bit nuts. She goes and speaks to the psychiatrist, and who's that? It's what's his name? Mowgli.
The bird.
The bird, yeah. So he's bloody nuts as well. So I don't know how that's going to.
Apparently, he's not helping her. I mean, guess not.
Yeah, he's bonkers as well, so that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
So they both of them make a break for the ship to go and try and save their colleagues. Freeman's a bit upset about this, but I think she understands why. And then what I found, I didn't see this coming. Rutherford kind of tries to de-escalate the situation, and what he does is he said, "I should have done this ages ago," and you're expecting something cunning to happen or something cool.
Yeah.
He just runs up to Badgey, gives him a big hug, a big cuddle, and he went, "What?" And you could see Badgey.
Says, "Oh, I'm sorry, son."
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't there for you. And Badgey's so confused, like he's angry but sad, and then he just starts crying, and he's, "Oh, this is nice, whatever, you know." But, and I didn't see this coming, he then separates. This is where it gets
whacked out.
Yeah, this is where it gets batshit crazy, man. Like, it was crazy before, but it's now a different level of batshit craziness. He separates into Good Badgey, aka Gucci. What the fuck? What?
Gucci.
And Badgey's still Badgey.
I still have problems with Badgey, let alone Gucci, but okay.
Badgey was a bit of a exaggeration, a bit of a, claim there, but we were willing to accept it. But this is a whole different level, so we now get Gucci and Badgey. Gucci is, and
that's
super
never been done before.
Well, no, it really hasn't.
Well, with Badgey, they did it in the original Star Trek series, Enemy Within, where Shatner got split into two.
I was definitely being facetious. Sorry, Greg. In case I didn't come across.
But all right, we got two.
So we got Badgey, Gucci. Gucci is proper good Boy Scout now. He makes a break with Mariner and Rutherford. And then there was a whole random scene of, at this stage here, because Agimus and Peanut Hamper have kind of made a break for it. At this stage here, Boimler and Tendi are kidnapped by Agimus and taken aboard the ship. We've seen that coming clearly. They are getting taken. He's getting taken to, I don't know, his parole hearing or something. And then Agimus does the whole thing where he literally has these little bots that come out his backside and literally go and take over the ship and put, like, I don't know, they were like, handcuffs.
Yeah.
What?
Like light handcuffs or
light handcuffs. Yeah, like something out of bloody Destiny. and then they couldn't move, and he's you see my cunning plan, because he changes the color of his light again, doesn't he? So he's blue for all.
Yeah, it goes back to red.
Yeah. I bet
See?
then they go to a random planet. I didn't mention this much here. They were actually on a random planet waiting for Peanut Hamper, but Peanut Hamper hadn't turned up. And poor Agimus is gutted that his missus has ditched him, because they're starting to form some kind of bond here. But you notice the whole time Tendi's sitting there playing, because it's on a beach on this random planet. She's making a sandcastle. She's making a sandcastle. What? They can't move their hands.
And then she makes a remark saying, like, on her home world or whatever, it's only rocks, so she can only make things out of rocks. And she's going like, well, this is great, because there's a bunch of little tiny pieces and I can make a castle. It's like, okay.
That was kind of random, that, but I didn't really talk about that too much, because let's say it's all over the place, and I left little bits out because I'm trying to make this review episode make a little bit more sense to you guys, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen the episode. Tell me if I'm wrong. If this is not a batshit crazy episode, tell me otherwise in the comments, but I think it is. But yeah, so that was random. Poor Agimus thinks he's been dumped, and they go looking for Peanut Hamper after. That's kind of the plan with that one. Right. You mentioned here, Gray, at this stage, certainly, I know you're upset about a few things in this episode, but the lack of humour in this episode compared to other episodes, and the pacing is something you weren't a fan of, yeah?
I mean, I think the humor is like at the most chuckle worthy, with the exception of maybe one or two scenes. It's just kind of like I'm not really laughing. I mean, there was several other episodes that were much better and had much more humorous times, like the one that we had Dr. Cat, which is of course the best, and we had what's his face that came back.
Shax.
And they were all Shax, and they were all making their comments, and it was like great. It was like wonderful. And then this show is like not even close to being as good as that one, you know. And the other thing too is I keep getting the feeling that this particular episode was written for children. I mean, it just seems like kids would go, "Oh, look at the robots," you know. I mean, it wasn't really written for us, you know, like the adult humor-ish kind of thing. It was written for like 8-year-olds or something. I don't know.
Essentially, what you're saying, and I have to agree with you, is the funniest characters on that episode are not actually the main cast, not the lower deckers. It's actually some of the main crew who you're not supposed to see all the time, which is a shame, because when they come on, they make it funnier. So we shouldn't have to rely on them. They should be a nice bonus laugh for us throughout the episode. The main guys should be funnier, down to the writing, I guess. So maybe.
Well, the thing in this episode is the main characters are mostly the robots. To be, you know, so there should have been more moments where they were reacting against the characters that we know, you know, so for some more funny things. But they really weren't reacting that much to them. There's only a couple of funny lines here and there, and Boimler's going like, "Oh, do we have to do this again?" And,
yeah, Boimler wasn't really too funny in this episode, to be honest.
No, he wasn't funny at all. I mean, Tendi was like on drugs or something. I mean, I don't know.
She's always on drugs, though, mate. She's always a bit weird, to be fair.
I guess.
But yeah, not
one too many.
A point taken, though, Gray.
Yeah. One too many gummy worms, man.
If we're not laughing at this episode, that's a problem, because this episode or this series is about comedy, and that's the main name of the game. So we should be laughing more. But yeah, like I say, we're not trying to completely bash it. You know, I'm trying to big up the more positive moments. But yeah, moving on, of course. Rutherford tries a different plan to get Badgey to back down. It's still Badgey at this stage, yeah. He tries to run logic by Badgey, which confuses him. He's like, because at this stage he's actually put some gas on he controls the Cerritos. He's letting poisonous gas out on the ship, which is slowly like choking everyone and killing them all. And this logic kind of works, because he does stop the gas, because he's like, killing all you guys wouldn't actually achieve anything. But the logic confusion causes him to split again. Oh, no.
Yeah. And then you get the logical Badgey now.
You get Logi. I think that was his
Logi,
name. Logi and Badgey. Oh, what?
Yeah. It's at this point, I'm just holding my head and I'm going like, no, come on.
I'm
Are you
thinking,
kidding me?
I'm thinking I need some acid or LSD or something to make sense of this episode.
It's bad enough I'm not real fond of Badgey anyway. Now I got 3 of them, and it's like, oh,
That's a
jeez.
good point. Yeah, great. There is three. There is three of them. So yeah, separation again into Badgey and Logie, and Logie's very Vulcan-esque and straight face and deadpan and very Spock-esque. Badgey's going nuts. He's pure evil now. There's nothing left of him. It's just pure Badgey. So, Badgey Prime, as I'm going to call him. And he said he's going to kill everyone in the Federation. He's had enough, right? He's going to do everyone in. His plan is, and this is poor writing again because it's been done, kinda.
Yeah.
He's going to upload his code to everything in the Federation and infect everything. And hello, Prodigy, done there. We've done it.
Yeah.
Why can't we do originals things? Oh man, it was only done less than 2 years ago, man.
I mean, yeah, it's just too much. And on top of that, it's just way too hard to believe. I'm sorry. This one Badgey took all this information from an eyepiece and was able to do all these things, and then he brings it to the next level, which is extremely higher. He just jumps into the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, I can infect all of Starfleet now. Yeah. Are you serious? From that little bit, you can go disinfect all. It's just, it really gets dumb now and unbelievable.
This series, as we've already said before, is mainly about its comedy, which we can get used to, and we have got used to. But it's still got to be believable and achievable, and because it's still based in Star Trek. We're not bloody Star Wars here, man. It's based on theory and some kind of cohesion and sensibility, and this is just batshit crazy. So yeah, he's going to infect everyone. He's going to kill everyone. He's pissed off. Badge. He's got a massive chip in his comm badge. Agimus is missing Peanut Hamper. He still can't get a hold of his missus, his partner in crime. I thought they would see some robot kissing or something, man. That's something they missed out. Some writing,
I was
comedy.
Thinking I wanted to see some robot tears come out of as Agimus. You know, like couple little bolts or something come out of his eyes or something.
Little bolts, man.
I don't know.
Something.
I think that would have been funny. That was another missed opportunity. Come on, make him cry. Something. I don't know.
So when they're on this planet that I think he was going to settle down with Peanut Hamper and take over.
Yeah, he had a whole idea.
It's just a random planet. He's a dictator. He's sitting in his throne, and he's got Tendi and Boimler nearby, and because there was a suggestion of him going to look for Peanut Hamper, which he's going to go and look for her. They find out where she's been hiding, and then the little funny comment, just a little funny comment. He goes, "Quick, lackeys, carry me to the shuttle because he's got no legs."
Right, so, yeah, exactly. You can't get around.
So Boimler and Tendi, or one of them, picks him up and takes him to the shuttle. So he's a bit of a hopeless AI. Actually, you think you would fit legs to yourself or something?
Yeah, but see, that was a funny line though. That was one of the few funny lines. So I'm sitting there going like, he does all these things, but yet he has to be carried around. So that was funny. Like I said, the rest,
was decent.
A lot of the rest of it wasn't, but that was all right.
It wasn't hilarious, but compared to the rest of this episode, it was pretty funny. So yeah, they go looking for Peanut Hamper, get back aboard the shuttle. Then we find out back on the Badgey ship, we're going to just call it, Logie or whatever the hell his bloody name is, has jumped back into Badgey. He's just sitting there at the helm, Badgey, and Logie just jumps into him to make him start going a bit. But I'm at this stage, I'm like, there's a lot of A's, isn't there? There's a Badgey, there's Logie, there's Gucci, where's Greyjay and Trevgy.
Trevgy.
It's a bloody is a Trevgy.
Plus the solution was so stupid. They just split, so he's going to jump back inside of him and make everything wonderful. And I'm like, what?
That's not very logical.
No, it's not.
It's not, and he's logic-y, so it doesn't really make any sense. But it hasn't quite worked as before they can properly merge. Badgey kind of grabs him. And then this was something at a bloody WWE match. He just picks him up and then goes,
cracks him.
It
Yeah.
just breaks his back.
Yeah.
And he's all
On his
bent
leg,
and
on his
buckled.
knee.
I was like, what?
The
What?
poor
Why?
guy. And he just got killed. So there goes the logic out the
Wait,
window.
where did Badgey get legs from and knees from to do this? What?
I don't know. And if he's a hologram, which supposedly he is, then generally speaking, he could change into anybody.
Yeah, he's a bit like the Doctor, isn't he? From the Doctor,
Yeah.
not the original Doctor, the Doctor from
Yeah.
Voyager, where he's got where the technology is good enough where the mobile emitters are permanently fitted throughout the ship, and he is a solid beam of light, I guess. So Logic A is taking out the situation. Rest in peace, Logic A. He's gone. Gray's upset about the pacing here. He's getting more antsy as the episode's going on. You were still staying awake though at this stage, Gray. So
I was staying
done.
awake, but the finger was heading closer and closer to the off button. I'm like this. No, don't, no.
Gray kind of has to keep watching it to the end. He does the review of me, so it kind of would be pointless if he'd done that.
Right.
It would just be me here.
I took it for the team.
You took one for the team. You certainly did. We found Peanut Hamper though, guys. She's working with her dad. This was the whole thing to get out. She was genuinely trying to be a better AI, which shock horror. They're not all evil. She is trying to be better. She's helping her old man out. Right. This was amusing. She says she's not very good at the domination stuff, apparently. That was slightly amusing. She's going straight.
What could that mean?
And
that's
then
a double entendre if you think about it.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to think about it. And then she introduces Agimus to her father, but her father can't speak English. It's just a little beep up boops, like machine noises. And Agimus can obviously understand that being an AI. He felt like the boyfriend getting a dress down from the father. That's the best way I could describe it. He's like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Peanut." So it's just Mr. Hamper. Just Mr. Hamper to you. Okay, right, fine. But they're only friends, apparently. Yeah, okay, it's another relationship that's pretty obvious to the eye. And then Gray writes here, "Help me, I can't take it anymore." I thought that was slightly amusing. Okay, it's bonkers, but it was slightly amusing.
Well, here's what made it funny now. Another missed opportunity. They should have said like what the father's name was, right? So you have Peanut Hamper.
Yeah, Mr.
The father's
Hamper.
name
you went to the first name.
The father's name should have been Walnut Hamper or something like that.
God.
Just keep on the nut theme or something.
Oh, great! No, God, you're nearly as bad as the writing. Oh,
well,
God.
it could have been Clothes Hamper. That would have been even better.
Picnic Hamper.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's too late, guys. Badgeys went apeshit properly, uploaded himself to subspace. Which, the concept of this, okay, it's batshit crazy in terms of the theory. So he uploads himself to subspace, which would infect everything because all of the Federation has access to subspace for comms. So everything does get infected, and the kind of effects were kind of cool. He has infected everything, essentially. He's everywhere. Gray just is,
I'm not buying any of this. I'm just not, man. He starts doing this, and I'm going like, right, okay, that's sure.
Is that what? Yes, is that what we're going? Okay, but
of course it was so simple. Again, from the little headpiece, he was able to do all these things, and then you see him infecting everything. And this is even worse. He infects the ship, and then he infects another Starfleet ship, and then another ship, and then a station. The entire Starbase 1 is taken over. And other ones, and I'm going like, nah, I'm sorry, I can't buy into this one at all. And stuff. And it's
far fetched.
It's just getting so ridiculous. I'm like,
It is far fetched. I'm not going to. But it gets. You would think it wouldn't get any more batshit crazy. It does. Oh, it does.
Of course.
But it turns out he doesn't want to destroy everything because he is everywhere. He literally has all this power, and he no longer wants to destroy the Federation. It's like awakened himself. He does this whole bloody what religion would that be, Gray? Buddha type thing, where he starts doing the kind of the hand gesture, and he's enlightened, and the effects are just a little bit strange. I kind of got the idea. okay, I'm trying to make sense of this, Gray. I know it's difficult. That because he's everywhere, he's almost on Q level. That he sees everything.
You
and knows
did hear
everything.
him drop the line about Q, right?
Yeah. What was the line? What was the line again? Do you remember?
As he was going through this, whatever, he was evolving into this
Oh,
higher
yeah,
power.
yeah.
He goes, maybe I'll go check out the Q continuum. And then he says, like, all right, I'm going to go off and create my own universe now. So now I can imagine a bunch of badgies running around this universe.
Yeah, he's off to an empty dimension to make a new universe.
Yeah.
And it's all bloody bonkers. Great.
As long as he gets rid of him, we never see him again. That would be great.
So ridiculous is worse than bloody bonkers. I don't know, Gray. They're both up there. So yeah, it's a little bit batshit crazy, to be fair. He then just disappears. Like, okay, whatever. The day's been saved. Agimus is locked up again because he was trying to not genuinely get parole, whereas Peanut Hamper was. Because they're having a moment at the end where should we leave him be? We'll leave him be for a while, but we do have to lock him up because he's kind of a bad AI. Maybe he will learn one day. Probably not. But we find out about your random ship though, Gray. Don't we?
Oh, yeah.
What happened with your random ship? Were you happy with this?
No, not at all.
Why not? The whole Tell the people what happened and why you're upset.
So they decide that they find out that the random ship that we've seen literally destroying all these other ships and frying everybody into ashes is not really destroying the ship. They actually were taking the ship away as like a stealing the ship, sort of. And the way they said it and the way they showed it, I'm sitting there going like, wait a minute.
It was like beaming it up. It was like beaming it up, like vaporizing it and storing the code or whatever.
Yeah, but to me, it makes no sense. They just sat there and they just vaporized the ship, killed everybody, but they're stealing the ship, and they show it like as if they're pulling the ships away, like on a tractor beam. And I'm getting all confused now. Like, so you're pulling the ship away in a tractor beam, but you just destroyed the ship. So how do you explain all this?
No, I got this. I actually did get this. I think we've seen this in Star Trek before. We saw it in Star Trek. Oh, what movie was it now? With the probe. That's Star Trek 4.
Oh, yeah. The whale probe.
Yeah. So when the Klingons go in, for example, any ship. Or no, was it the first ship? No, it was the first ship. It was, the first movie, the motion picture.
Oh, yeah. I know
V'ger literally vaporizes everything, but it's the same kind of effect. So instead of destroying it, what it's actually doing is actually think about the opposite of destroying. It's actually
basically
breaking it down and taking the code. Like when you get teleported, it's doing that kind of. It just looks like they're getting destroyed. The people. I think the ships and the people are okay. They're all just stored somewhere for whatever reason. We'll find out. No, that's free episodes.
Even if that's true, if we assume that that's true for a second, that's not the way it was depicted. The way it was depicted is there's nothing but bits and pieces left of the ship, and everybody's been burnt to crisp.
True.
So how do they sit there and correlate that to like we're stealing the ship, and then the way they make the ship look? It doesn't look like a hologram projection. It looks like they're pulling a ship away on a tractor beam.
And the people as well look like they're... No. Before this episode, it generally looked like everything was getting destroyed, Gray. We didn't even see any tractorage. So...
No, I'm saying in this episode, there was a scene where this, whatever it is, ship is pulling the ship by a tractor beam, stealing it, essentially, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying. But it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't
match up with the rest of it. It doesn't match up with the rest of the season.
Not at all. And I'm just getting so tired of this now. I'm just hoping that, I don't know, the way they're doing this, the payoff at the end or whatever the ship is getting to the point where it ain't going to be good. It really, that's what I'm worried about.
When you see the people on the ships before this episode, when everything looked like it was being destroyed, the people looked like they were getting vaporized, not teleported or beamed up or their code stored. They look like they're getting fried, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you see wreckage.
Yeah.
So
unless that's a ploy, Gray, to do that on purpose, leave a bit of wreckage behind. Because the thing is, right, what I should add some context to this. Agimus actually gives some intel to Boimler about what's happening, because he, throughout the episode, has been teasing he knows what's happening with this random ship, and it turns out he does.
Mm-hmm.
He does say, oh, by the way, they're not destroying the ships, they're actually stealing them. But I think, I know you're going to say, Gray, hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving the image off that they're destroying the ships on purpose, but they're actually capturing them. They want people to think they're destroying them, so they leave some debris there on purpose to throw people off the scent. But then just make that more obvious then, like when you're writing it with dialogue, make that a bit more obvious to the people, because it's not super obvious at all.
Yeah, but even that is weak, because if all they had to do is scan the wreckage and they'll know immediately that the whole ship's not there, right? But they already said the ship's been destroyed. So you're not making any sense.
They've used that. I agree with you, Gray. They've used this technique many times throughout history, haven't they? Did you just think back to World War II movies where some ships, some U-boats would throw up some debris to try and pretend they'd been blown up, but they hadn't really. So yeah,
and that works fine in World War II, but not in the 24th century.
Nah, not in the technology. So Agimus might come good in the end. Peanut Hamper has come good. And Rutherford has brought Gucci back to the ship. They're now a team. Gucci hasn't been destroyed. That was the only part of Badgey that survived, the good part, and they're like a team together now. Yeah, no, there's some form of Badgey left, mate. You're screwed.
Yeah, but the goodie now, the Gucci, whatever his name is that's just annoying, man.
Could turn into Badgey again.
And yeah, I know, but I want Badgey to be gone like forever. So now the Gucci's here. And if they start making him appear off and on, helping Rutherford, I'm done. I don't want. That's gonna ruin everything. It doesn't work.
Okay, great. We'll get this out the way and done. I'm actually going to change mine again, because see, when you talk about it, it just makes it. There you go. I'm going to go first this time, if you don't mind, Gray, just to mix it up.
Okay.
I did start at 7 out of 10. I don't know why. I've actually come down to 5 out of 10. I've went decent, very average episode at a push. I wasn't laughing at it, barely at all. And I could see the points that Gray made, more so after going through it with him. It all over the place. It just wasn't great at all. I'm being generous giving it 5, but Gray, you gave it less, and just indulge the people as to why.
Yeah, I went 4 out of 10 because it's boring. It was rushed. It was unoriginal. It looked like they're phoning it all in. The previous episodes look like complete gold compared to this one. It's just
sounds like you were being generous giving it 4 out of 10. Actually,
I probably could have went lower, but I was trying to be like, if there's a couple of redeeming scenes, so but 4 is pretty bad.
See if Shax or Tiana came into it, or both. That might have boosted it up 1 point.
Oh, that would have boosted up a whole number at least. All you gotta do is have them in there, and that's it.
Right. Okay, guys, we'll end it there because we don't want to put anyone through it. Hopefully you find this kind of review a little bit entertaining, because, yes, it wasn't a great episode, but laughing at us being appalled at it would amuse me.
We always turn it around and make it amusing.
We do. We have to, man. I managed to make this last 52 minutes. I don't know how. Miracles do happen. Yeah, we will wrap up there. We don't seem to get advance trailers. Why don't for future episodes? Nor do we get episode titles until the day before or the day of the episode. So I couldn't tell you what episode 8 is going to be called yet. But we'll be back.
In this case, if they did have one and they showed that Badgey was going to be on the next episode, I could have passed it up.
See, yeah, it could be. You stole my joke. I was going to say it's the return of Badgey. Gucci turns into Badgey. But anyway, yes, we will wrap up there. Of course, please leave me comments below if you like the episode. Don't bother with thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't really care. I just want to hear from the people. Are we being silly? Are we being not? Would you want to see a special? Do you want to see a Badgey special? Gray would love that.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to get a Badgey mask and put it over my face.
I'm going to get you a Badgey t-shirt, man. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah. Can I light it? Can I light it on fire live on our show?
No, shit doesn't burn. So, yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for your patience. We'll see you next week for episode 8. But until then, Mr. Gray, do your thing, please, mate.
Live long and prosper, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, bye.